Malaki yung black, oo.
Pero I tried the doll eyes. Nakakatakot na wala
Yung black,
puti ko.
dude, on. Yung black, nakakatakot siya. Please. Good evening, I'm Shawn Yao and this is One News Now. The Food and Drug Administration has been authorized to approve the emergency use of COVID-19 vaccines in the country. Officials assure the public that strict quality checks on manufacturers will not be compromised. Greg Gregorio with the story.
President Duterte has allowed the Food and Drug Administration to issue an emergency use authorization to manufacturers of potential COVID-19 vaccines and drugs. This will shorten the processing time for the approval of applications from 6 months to just 21 days, according to health officials. In a text message, FDA Director General Eric Domingo says they are very excited about the news and that they will do their best to make safe and effective vaccines available in the country soon. Vaccine czar Carlito Galvez Jr., for his part, assures the public that strict vaccine regulations will remain.
The process itself is the same. The only thing that have been changed on the process is some bureaucratic delays have been removed.
The government is currently in talks with 17 vaccine manufacturers from different countries. Some of them have already expressed their intent to apply for an EUA even prior to the president's announcement earlier today. Meanwhile, officials report a downward trend in the COVID-19 cases in the country. From over 88,000 on August 15, active cases went down to just around 25,000 on December 1, despite more provinces easing quarantine restrictions. Health Secretary Francisco Duque III also noted a decreasing trend in the critical care utilization rate of various regions, particularly in NCR. But he warned that these numbers might change with a possible post-holiday surge.
Pwedeng bumaligtad at mauwi tayo doon sa pagsipa muli ng mga kaso at mabilaukan ang ating mga ospital at ang ating pong mga ibang mga pasilidad.
Other healthcare professionals share this fear.
One is that we had a lot of typhoons, storms, and evacuees from the floods. And those evacuation centers were packed with people in evacuation with no protective equipment sometimes. Pangalawa, the Christmas season is here.
Various agencies are appealing to the public to continue following strict health protocols, especially this Christmas season. The Transportation Department is working with the DILG, PNPH, PG, and MMDA on the strict monitoring of compliance to the minimum health standards in transport terminals.
We are fielding random mystery passengers to check compliance sa atin pong public utility vehicles.
For News 5, Greg Gregorio, we are One News.
Government officials clarified that there's still no decision yet on allowing minors to go to malls. For the details, Camille Samonte joins us live from Pasay City. Camille, Who will decide on this matter, and when exactly can we expect this final decision to come out?
Sean, Metro Manila mayors have agreed to consult first with medical experts before crafting such recommendation. So once and for all, minors are still not allowed to visit shopping malls across the country. MMDA General Manager Jojo Garcia says the Philippine Pediatric Society is set to present a report on the said resolution. After that, the Metro Manila Council will convene once again to vote based on facts presented by medical experts. Garcia notes that the local chief executives want to be careful as they don't want to be blamed on the possible spike in cases. With this, the official clarifies that only those aged 18 to 65 are allowed to go outside and wander in malls. Minors in areas under GCQ and modified GCQ are still not allowed to leave their homes except for essential errands. Carlito Galvez Jr., Chief Implementer of the National Task Force Against COVID-19, sees minors as possible super spreader of the virus. In today's Laging Handa briefing, Galvez explains this is because their population is at 16 million and above. Sean, once the MMC agrees to allowing minors to visit malls, the proposal will be submitted to the IATF. The task force will then let President Duterte decide if he will heed the suggestion and adapt it across the country. Sean?
Thanks for that update, Camille Samonte, reporting to us live from Pasay City. And at least 3 Asian countries have expressed interest in putting up travel bubbles with the Philippines. And these countries are South Korea, Taiwan, and Japan, according to Tourism Undersecretary Benito Bengzon Jr.
Kung mapapansin mo, lahat yan, these are all short-haul markets. Most likely, doon sa mga bansang binanggit ko, manggagaling ang ating mga turista.
In an interview with Agenda, Bengzon also noted that the revival of tourism has to be done slowly but surely to prevent a spike in COVID-19 infections.
We have to achieve an optimum balance between stimulating economic activities, particularly tourism. Dito rin papasok yung konsepto ng mga maximum carrying capacity or maximum number of travelers in a particular destination.
We're going to pause for a quick break, but we will be back with more stories after that. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. The Transportation Department is sticking to the deadline for the full implementation of cashless toll transactions. And as for motorists who have not claimed their RFIDs yet, the DOTR says that stickering lanes will remain. JC Cosico joins us live from Mandaluyong for the details. JC, is January 11 really enough time, or until January 11?
Sean, the Transportation Department is not keen on extending the transition period for cashless toll transaction. It says that the heavy traffic it caused yesterday was just a birth pain of the new policy. DOTR Senior Consultant Albert Swensing said some 15% of motorists across the country have yet to claim their RFID stickers. This despite the agency imposing multiple extensions on the full implementation of cashless toll transactions. Our team saw for ourselves if the process is indeed tedious, especially with many motorists still scrambling to claim their RFID tags. It was around 9 a.m. when our team lined up at the Mindanao Avenue Toll Plaza northbound when we were handed a customer information sheet upon reaching the toll booth. After filling out the form with the driver's name, contact information, and plate number, we were asked to pay 500 pesos for the initial load. The process took our team more than an hour. Officials said the traffic in tollways today was more manageable than what they observed yesterday. They said it was partly caused by vehicle owners who are still familiarizing themselves with the new system. Some of them do not know that their cards do not have enough load. And despite these hiccups, the DOTR said it will stick to the January 11 deadline for the mandatory enforcement of cashless toll transactions. Sean, the DOTR says that the goal of the cashless toll transaction is to avoid the spread of COVID-19 while enforcing or while easing traffic congestion along expressways. Now, toll operators have also noticed that the number of RFID users has also increased to 85% yesterday compared to 65% in previous weeks. Back to you.
Thanks for that update, JC Cosico, reporting to us live from Mandaluyong City. Maynilad and Manila Water are set to implement bill rollbacks starting January 1. Residential customers of Maynilad will see a 5 centavo per cubic meter reduction in their monthly bills. For Manila Water customers, it's 14 centavos per cubic meter that will be deducted. The Metropolitan Waterworks and Sewerage System, or MWSS, assures the public that concessionaires won't be hiking rates just yet. The agency also called for leniency to consumers who are still unable to settle water bills pending from the ECQ.
All the consumer has to do is go to Manila Water and Maynilad and enter into payment terms or a promissory note with the two concessionaires and papayagan sila.
Celebrating Christmas under the new normal may be a challenge for families and businesses, and one congressman is now asking the government to approve a family bubble scheme. Jenny Dongon has the details.
It has been a family tradition among most of Filipinos to hold reunions during Christmas. But due to the health crisis, physical gatherings have been prohibited as this may result in the further spread of the virus. The family of Arnaldo, for one, will not be able to have their usual Christmas experience this year.
We have this tradition of checking into a hotel kasi taga-province pa kami. So we check into a hotel, we prepare there, we gather our gifts there, then we go to our grandmother's place. We have a little program.
This time, the Tayo family is planning to celebrate the birth of Christ in the most safe and practical way.
We're gonna do things virtually. So we're gonna do it via Zoom. And then we're just gonna prepare some games, some games that we can do over the internet.
Several companies will also go virtual. A BPO firm in Makati City is organizing an online pajama party among its work-from-home employees.
We do what we can with what we have, and it's important that we don't neglect and we don't forget all the good things that we can still be doing.
But with over 100 employees, organizers admit that it is extra challenging to come up with a remote party.
The spirit of engagement, the spirit of camaraderie, parang nag-lessen siya pagdating nung online. And so we're trying to keep it up palagi, to hype the event all the time.
For BHW Congresswoman Angelica Co, physical celebration of the holiday season is still possible. She is calling on the IATF to approve what she calls Christmas Family Bubble. Under the scheme, families that are able to plan ahead can self-quarantine for 14 days before their in-person meet-up. The lawmaker adds that it will be better if they are also able to undergo prior COVID-19 testing. When asked if businesses would consider the proposal, Figueroa says it is not ideal, especially for BPO firms.
That would be difficult to do kasi the way I understand bubbles, you'll have to house everyone in a specific location for 14 days.
Health experts say necessary precautions are needed if they decide to push through with physical celebrations. According to Dr. Leonila Dance of Healthcare Professional Alliance Against COVID-19, it is important to consider the venue.
Check nyo yung ventilation, air ventilation, no? So dapat yung hindi nasa kulog na lugar, kung pwede sa may garden o sa may labas, mas maganda.
For News 5, Jenny Dongon, We Are One News.
For more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Sean Yao, and we are One News.